it's just the recognition to me. One of the biggest blessings in your life is growing pains. One of the biggest blessings is going through a time where you are feeling at your lowest or depressed or whatever the feeling is, because that is just confirmation that you're not in alignment, or you're meant for something different, or you're meant for something more, something greater. You know, if you're satisfied with where you're at, then that just is what it is, and you know, you probably wouldn't even be depressed. But because you are, because you feel a certain way or you're not all the way there, that is just confirmation that you are truly, truly meant for more or something different. So to me, I think that when you recognize, okay, you know, once you start recognizing things of that nature, you can say, okay, what's the first step of getting out of this? And so that's part of the book. I say, you know, accepting where you are. That doesn't mean you have to stay there. That just means accepting the blessings and all the things that come along with where you are, to open up space for more. And you're letting go of all the baggage that's holding and weighing you down. I used to be like that. I used to be like, when things don't go my way, I'm terrible. Oh, this doesn't happen the way I wanted it to or the way I saw it. You know, my whole mood is shot, right? And I'm not to say that they don't affect me when they don't go my way, but I have the armor on now. I know how to deal with it. I know how to get it and get back to it. That's how a lot of my heroes deal with things. So, you know, when you think of Denzel Washington, like say he's in a new movie out, say the movie does amazing and it's incredible and he wins an Oscar, say the movie comes out and it bombs or it doesn't do as well, he's not going to give up and quit. It's not going to ruin his life. He's going to move on to the next thing and use that to the power of separation to me. You know, that's a real thing.
Yeah, I reminded me of, I love Denzel too. So
yeah, I know.
you reminded me of...
I can't speak for Denzel. That's just like an example.
Yeah, of what you're perceiving.
Yeah.
I remember my football coach growing up gave me this piece of advice, and it stayed with me ever since then. He would say to us, if you lose, try for a night.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you win, celebrate for a night, but then get back to training.
That's right.
So if you lose, cry for a night, but then get back to training. And if you win, celebrate for a night and get back to training. It was always about getting back to training the next day. It was like, you can't just sit there and cry for a week or cry for a month. And in the same way, celebrate for a month. You can't just live off your past success.
That's right.
Back to training. And I love that mindset. Someone was
asking me. Like a Kobe mindset almost, right?
Yeah, for sure. Go on.
You know, I know you got a chance to talk to Kobe before, and I've actually got a chance to talk to him as well. And you know, he's including his mindset was something that I admired so much. And I got to talk to him literally a few months before he passed, and he was just telling me he meditates and what it does for him, right? And I just resonated with that so much. It's really cool because we all are reflections of each other, not just me and you or whoever. It's like everyone that's in your vicinity environment is a reflection of you or a part of you, even if you like them or don't like them, you know. And it's something to recognize that we are all interconnected. After you go layers of it, right, you get past the singularity of like career, the you know, family, house, this and that. We're all, you go really deep inside, and we're all very similar. We're all the same. We have the same system of order of operations, you know. And it's really a true testament of we all
Billy, what's up?
Physical.
I thought somebody knocked on my door.
I don't know what you want to call it, or love, energy. And as I've gotten older, like I see the similarities. I have friends that are in their 60s, 70s. You know, I have friends that are all races and things, and I see myself in all of them. And I think that's something to recognize in such a world of separation. I know that kind of is like a far reach from talking about the interaction with Kobe, but it's just crazy how in everyone that I've been meeting, and even just from growing up, that I've seen this like here almost in a lot of ways. Every day I wake up, I'm one day closer to death. But what you gonna do with the time you got left? I always say that's a business will never be successful as the business of trying to please everyone. And then when you do please everyone, it's like, are you yourself? I can't control what people think of me, their perceptions of me, and I try and control that. It takes me off of my path.
Hey, Push.
Talking about Kobe, I think
how's my day? It's going good. How about you, baby?
He was at peace in retirement.
It wasn't going good at first, if I'm being honest. I did not feel good. I called off from work today.
Naturally, it was so important to be on
Yeah, I called off from work today.
And so
I just wasn't feeling it.
But it's so hard to not be on the court and not miss it. I want to be there. And he had found a new purpose. And that's the interesting thing, is that you don't get to peace by...
But I'm feeling better.
You don't get to peace by trying to pursue more prizes. And
like, dang, should I just start work? Because I work from home, primarily. It was like, should I, like, just start work later? So I don't...
And I want to give you a game plan,
take like a whole
in our interview, so that when they read the book, they can kind of connect the dots between things you've said today. And I want everyone to go out and grab a copy of the book, because I really feel it simplifies.
You're pissed? What you pissed for? Feeling good. Physically and like mentally, emotionally.
Because I think even hard step, it's such an important step. This idea that your journey only begins to accept that where you are is your starting point.
So I know you guys, if you've been
the skills, the talents, the gifts.
If you've been in lives when I'm talking about my cleanse that I'm on, that I'm facilitating, that I'm guiding with you guys, I said that
I would say that I understand.
I was on the verge of deactivating my Instagram, so my Instagram is deactivated. I do have another Instagram, which is 2PineH2O. That's my nature Instagram and like cat Instagram page or whatever. So I do have that one. That page is so positive compared to like my main page, which my main page, I have like 12 followers on Instagram. And like, I just feel like I've outgrown it. Like, I'm always deactivating it, coming back. And I just like, I want to go more towards like, not so much myself on social media anymore. Like, obviously on here on YouTube, you know. But like on Instagram, I just feel like it's played out. Like, watch your stuff and don't really like your stuff. It's just weird. So I just don't want to be in that space. And like, even the For You page on that page is like disgusting. I'm like, why is my For You page disgusting? It's like girls like twerking. It's like vaginas. I'm just like, what is going on? So I'm not feeling it. So on my other page, which is my cat and my page, so I have the content on there is like when I go hiking and stuff and like chilling, and then like my cat. So I'm just going to focus on that page. And I have a lot of followers on there. I only have 43 followers. Like, I don't even fucking care. I remember there was a time where I was like for frenzy. I wanted like so many followers. And my thing is like, I only want followers that are active, you know? Yeah, you could have a number and it's like they're dead. Like, it's a dead page. So, I just don't want to be in that space anymore. Like, I post and be happy. I don't want to post to be like, oh my God, I'm going to get this much likes or this amount of people is going to see my stuff. No. Now, do I want a lot of subscribers? Yes, on YouTube, absolutely, because I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy sharing with you guys, teaching you guys things that I've learned, you know, things you guys want to talk about. Somebody's come onto my lives and you ask for advice. Because you know I'm a certified life coach. Give you skills on how to maneuver whatever your situation is. So it's just a different vibe on YouTube. So yeah, of course I want to build my I don't like to call my subscribers my fans. I like to say, like, I mean, you guys already have a name. I call you guys the Butterfly Nation or the Intellects. So I just I consider you guys my distant family. So, and I met some really cool people here on YouTube, so that really like show up and like support me. So yeah, you said no work today because of this. Oh man, 50 inches and 60 inches of snow in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Oh man. But are you having fun though? Like, Making a snowman or something. I don't know. Do you guys get snow often? Not gonna lie, I live in Oregon. It snows here too. I looked outside earlier this morning. It definitely was like the beginning stages of snow, like the first little. I'm not gonna say it was a sheet. No, it's like the grass turns like this weird, like greenish, whitish. It gets like this white thin layer on it before it starts to like snow and stuff. But like where I'm at specifically, Oregon snows, but where I'm ices. So you get ice. So and it typically is like for a couple days too. It rains and then we'll have like a very bad pouring rainstorm and then you got to deal with that. So that's what's up. Oh shit. Sorry. I'm listening to this Big Sean manifestation mantra with Jay Shetty podcast. Big Sean is releasing a book. I don't know if it's out yet. He's doing a press tour for it.
That doesn't mean that you are giving up. Those are two different things. Accepting it means, okay, I'm ready to go somewhere else. And I'm thankful for all that this has taught me, all that this has brought me. I accept where I'm at. I know I'm made for something else. I know I'm made to go higher, right? No, but really I'm made to be somewhere else in the world. And I think that until you accept that, you can't move forward because you're just in the middle of it. And I think when you accept something, that's how you get ahead of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's crazy because I'm going through that right now.
Resistance to acceptance that blocks us.
Exactly.
Right? It's like when we're
well
fighting.
Said.
Yeah, when we're fighting, we're going in the opposite direction. It's like it's telling you it's going in this direction, and you're trying to force it to go in the other direction, and that's what's causing tension. Accepting it means, like you said, not that you're giving up, but you're like, all right, well, I'll just do what you want.
Oh.
It's going, no, this is how it's flowing. Now what am I going to do?
There's always a thread of where you are to where you desire to be at. No matter what situation, there's never not a way. Or else you wouldn't feel it, or else you wouldn't have a desire for it. It wouldn't even be in your consciousness. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a desire to go to Saturn because that's just not in my thing, right? But I have a desire to, the things that I've had to, I always knew that there was a way. So always know that no matter what opportunity you're in, against the impossible odds, or against odds, whatever it is, you always have a way to get to where you are. There's always a thread leading you, and there are maybe multiple threads. So never be down and out and think that it's impossible. It's really not. I mean, Mission Impossible is a movie
They can't believe it. I saw in New Orleans it's snowing too. They haven't had snow in 15 years.
It's all meant for you, and it's up to you. One of my
well, look at the good thing. The snow melts. All that luscious water is going to make y'all vegetation so much more greener and pretty.
The moment is now. These moments, we only have.
I don't think I've ever been in North Carolina. I have family in South Carolina. I think I've drove through North Carolina, but I don't think I've actually been and experienced North Carolina.
And making an action plan to putting your attention on your intention. And of course, you have an idea of where you would like to be, but God doesn't always give us what we want. God gives us what we need. Sometimes those are the same thing, and sometimes they're not. Yeah. And it all works out,
Yeah, for sure. What's the when you're manifesting, as we're talking about this, like finding your path, what's the difference between attracting energy and chasing energy?
Oh, boy. Attracting energy and chasing energy. Well, like I said, when you're chasing something, you're already implementing the energy of it running it from you. You know what I mean? And not to say you can't get it, but it's an effort to chase something. It's like even police on a high-speed chase, it's like they might have to crash into other cars and they're chasing you. And when you attract something, it's you are using the powers that have been granted to you from God, universe, whatever you call it or believe in, of magnetizing to you. and you have that power. It's been the power that's been, we use it on a level, on small levels every day. Even if you just set it in, hey, today I need to take a shower. That's literally, you set a goal, you did it.
You in South Carolina and it finally snowed here last night?
That,
Oh, okay.
some things may take a lot more time.
I love South Carolina.
We have these expectations we set for ourselves.
I don't like it in the summertime though. You kick rocks. I would go there in the summer. It's too fucking humid. And the weather is bipolar. It's like it could be sunny and then like it rains all of a sudden. But it's not like cool rain. It's like warm rain.
And you can never count yourself out.
What's been the most difficult thing you've had to accept?
The most difficult thing that I've ever had to accept is that the things that I can't control. I used to the things that I can't control me.
This shit be getting nappy.
How someone perceives your
What part? Florence, South Carolina.
Like Erica Badu is. We're emotional about our shit, I think she said something like that. That never changes. But you can't control how someone perceives you. All you can do is first of all, to make something, to write something, to have an idea and actualize it that is really the win for real. I'm not just saying that. Like, that is like, come on. You know what I mean? You literally manifested something. How people consume it impact anyone. That's literally a bonus to it. That's why we do it, but that's you literally changing the world. So one thing I've had to accept is how people, I can't control what people think of me, their perceptions of me, and when I try and control that, it takes me off of my path that I'm on, or where I need to go.
Yeah.
So that is something you have to separate. Like I said, that power of separation of doing what you love to do and not tying it into how people perceive it.
Yeah.
Two separate things.
Which is so hard.
It is.
It's so hard.
Can y'all hit that thumbs up button for me, please?
When you get fixated on what other people think, you're just getting distracted from your path. Because now you're placing energy on. And then you might even shift what you're doing to try and appease them, and then they still like it. And that's the craziest part, right? You do what you want, and they don't like it. You do what they want, and they still don't like it. Right. And then you don't know who you are anymore, and no one likes it, and you don't like it either.
Yeah.
And you end up not liking yourself, trying to get everyone else to like you.
Exactly.
You don't want to be there.
And then you're kind of back to a square one, position of okay, having to reestablish yourself, and you got to be right with yourself first. So you nailed it right on the head, man. It's you can't really live your life with people. I always say that's a business you'll never be successful at, is the business of trying to please everyone. And then when you do please everyone, it's are you pleasing yourself?
It's a hard lesson as well for people, because we all naturally want to make the people around us happy. And our childhood is so much to do with that. We were speaking a bit earlier, and I was talking about how I was the peacemaker in my day. I was the mediator.
Yeah.
I was the person.
As a young one.
As a 10-year-old.
Wow.
And so I was always trying to keep the peace and listen to them, understand them, understand what was going on. And so I always read in between the lines, and I always had to have a great sense of when something was going to kick off. And I wasn't trying to make peace in the sense of
I'm not putting any product in here because I'm going to have to wash this wig soon. And it already has conditioner in it, so.
You know what's special about that, man? Is that I think we choose our parents before, I think as spirits we choose our parents. I believe, right? It's just a concept that I believe. And some people be like, well, I was in a family where it wasn't easy. Listen, I would have never chosen that. But you don't understand that, to be one of the billion of sperm that make it into the egg and conceptualize, you really fought to be in this world. And I truly believe that God doesn't give you what you want, God gives you what you need, first and foremost. And you don't know how the development, some people who need a nurturing family that's perfect, right? And then there are some people who learn maybe even more and become more of a positive force for the world to change it by learning of what to do from their parents directly all the time. Or not all the time, but in certain situations, So I just think that, you being the mediator, you were on a you were learning at such a young age of things to apply, not to apply to your marriage. And the fact that you were that, because we talked about camera, the fact that you were a mediator, the fact that you were that for your family at such an age, it's just incredible. Because look at the path that it's led you to. Man, you're impacting everybody, man. You're impacting like the world, you know, and me and families, and you're really changing it with like the person you are and the heart that you have, you know. So wow, I just gotta pay my respect to you.
No, you too. I got lucky. I met good men. I feel like important people. We've talked previous interviews and we've come on about your mother's role in your life.
Oh yeah.
And how pivotal she was. And for me, my monk teachers. You met Radhanath Swami.
Yeah.
When he came to Mass Jamaica a couple of years back.
Amazing.
And you met him, and meeting him was so pivotal to my whole spiritual journey.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this, man. Come on. Yeah.
That's Radhi genius. She's super smart when it comes to figuring out how to help people. But I was going to ask you, when you're talking about kids picking their parents, Noah picked you?
Yeah, he did.
Talk to us about how fatherhood has transformed your views on learning experience of what you've learned from fatherhood that you couldn't have learned from anything else.
Well, when you have a kid and you see them and they look like you and they look like their mom, you see that they smile like you or smile like her, you know, you see all these things and you realize, okay, and then they kind of look like my brother and they kind of look like her granddad and her, you know, all these different family members, right? And you're like, this is really crazy. And he'll do something that's like reminiscent of what you used to do, right? So then I realized, okay, the DNA is like a computer. It's information is passed on and on and on, right? So you're really the culmination of a whole lineage, right? In you. So one of the things I learned from him, because there are times in my life where I'm like, man, I wish I could talk to my grandma. And grandma was a female black captain in World War II, man. She was crazy. She was incredible. And like, or my granddad, they met in World War II, right? Or like, I wish I could like, I'll be like, man, I wish I could like speak to them or like get advice from them now, you know?
Sure.
I known them as a little kid, and then I realized that the information is already in me. All I have to do is just go deeper within and really connect with that. And that's something that I learned from my son being born. Somehow that was like, he is the culmination of our lineage, all the DNA from my side, from his mom's side, and so on and so forth. And he got something special going on. So that's one thing I learned. And another thing I learned is to go back to the simplistic beauties of life. When we're on walks out in nature, he's so fascinated with like the flowers and birds and like just like, oh, the this or that or bug beat, you know. He's like, and it giving me a whole new excitement for it.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate him for teaching me. I feel like he's teaching me as much as we teach him. I feel like he's teaching all of us a lot as well. And he's also all of us that like, hey, we can be happy right now. He's like, even if he's like distraught or something, he'll go do something and be happy right there. And he chooses, and I love that.
And I'm so glad I asked you that question, because I knew you'd have such a deep answer for it. Like your answer, the first part of it, the idea that your child has all of that within. Like you were just saying, you wish you could talk to your grandparents.
Yeah.
Which I wish I could interview your grandparents. I mean, that sounds like a phenomenal
thank you.
journey and story to hear about it. And I want to know how much more you know about what they did or how much you don't. But I love the idea that we actually have it encapsulated within us. It's coded in us.
It is.
And even if we're unaware of it, I was talking to a researcher.
We're gonna do a skincare. We're gonna do my skincare.
And she was we were finding this research that was talking
so you already know I like these.
kids are told
They be saying they use it once.
They have a much deeper sense of belonging. And so the reason why so many of us feel so
I don't be
lost
using it
today
once. I be using it 2 days, then I throw it.
deep stories about where our parents come from, where our grandparents come from, what they went
Because
through.
honestly, if you use a face towel, do you change your face towel every day?
Or feel at a disadvantage. But to
I don't
hear
use a
stories
face towel in the shower. I use a loofah.
This is your heritage.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you belong to
So
something
my
so
face
much
towel
more
is strictly
bigger
for my
beyond you.
face.
Because most of us are just like, oh yeah, I'm from West Hollywood.
I do not play. I did not get this pretty skin.
It's like a temporary residence.
It is.
For not taking
But,
care
like,
of
when
me.
you know you belong to something eternal. Like I was talking to the researcher, I was saying that in my life, the things that have helped me the most when I'm going through a tough time, a difficult time, a real low, is recognizing that I'm part of a 5,000-year-old tradition. So when I'm repeating the Gita, which is a 5,000-year-old scripture, which is the text I learned as a monk, when I realize connected to that lineage, I feel unstoppable.
Yeah.
Because I'm that survived for 5,000 years, I'm gonna be all right. Like I'm gonna be okay. Whereas when you just think like, oh man, I've just been on the planet for like 30 years and I figure it out, it can feel quite uncomfortable.
Facts.
And so I love what you're saying. Actually, inside your son Noah, there is the coding.
Yeah.
Of grandparents.
It is, and all of us. It's like time traveling. People always try and figure out how to preserve those. You know, there's the expression, oh, I'm living through my kids, or I'm living, that's real. I realize how much power these simple expressions have.
Tell me more, I like this.
Communication can save a nation, or like, but like, yeah, I really feel like we always try and think like, oh, there's not enough time, There's a real truth to I'm living through my kids or whoever you choose to. I don't even think it has to be kids. I think that your blood, your lineage, it's like you really do time travel. 1,000 years from now, there may be some descendants that look like us. It's like you'll be like, oh, I look like my dad's dad. Yeah. I never met him. He unfortunately passed, when I was super little and I never even met him. But he's a part of me too. And that's also why it's important to work on yourself and to heal certain traumatic experiences, because with all this information we pass on, you also pass on the good and the bad. You know what I mean? So, you heal things health-wise and you heal things traumatic-wise or trauma-wise, and it's really important to work on yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because you pass on all of that as well. Just because you understand something doesn't mean you have to accept it. And that's something that I had to learn the hard way. When you feel like you're all over the place and things aren't happening, sometimes you just need a little bit of structure and strategy to jumpstart it and build the foundation to build on. You do have to set your boundaries and respect who you are, because you will lose a sense of yourself. Take care of everyone else. You will lose a sense of yourself if you don't set these boundaries.
That's what used to right. Like within you, you have the coding of the greatness, and the heritage, and you have the coding of the unhealed generational trauma.
I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go in the kitchen.
In your background and past, generationally, traumatically,
gotta let this stuff seep up in my skin. But before we do that, I'm about to wash the dishes.
Create all of these scenarios in my head. And I think that's like a double-edged sword. If you have imagination and you're creative, you create, right? So you can create good, you can create bad. But the experience of life has taught me is to never worry. No matter what, you're going to survive. I think one of my biggest fears would be like, what if I lose everything, right? What if I have to go back to, growing up in Detroit and the hood, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, I was like, I shouldn't be scared to lose any of this stuff, because stuff is conditional. And it's like, I'm going to be good wherever I'm at. I remember when I talked to Sadhguru, I was like, where's your favorite place in the world? He's like, wherever I'm at. Yeah. I was like, damn. Yeah. So it kind of goes back to that. That's one of the things I don't want to pass on to myself. Don't worry. You could be fueled, you could let something inspire you to be greater, you could let something fire under you, but like, don't ever worry, because you have what it takes to get to wherever you gotta get to.
How do you imprint that in a young child? Like how do you
imprint that in a child by building up his confidence. And that's one of the things I never have like something that I want to keep feeding him from. Even the song I wrote about him on my album, that I see my inner child in him is still the remedy. It's really losing to the world imminent. Or is it something that me and his mom instilled in him? And the confidence you lose building him. It's like
so good.
Yeah, and like I just want to water that. I think that when I was a kid, my mom and my dad came up in like a civil rights in the country, like and my family has been through a lot. My mom's great aunt, who was something that my mom has helped me recognize too, through all the knowledge she's given me and my dad. But like, one of the things I want to pass on to him is that like, be confident in who you are, because you have what it takes. You can already tell he has a great heart. He has a great spirit. He loves trying to make people like not even at 2 years old. He was like, before, like 1 year old, like telling you, trying to like make you smile, and it's just like, just want to keep going.
Yeah, and that confidence kind of talks nicely to the second practice in your book, you know, strategize.
Yeah, strategize.
And I love you went there because I think a lot of people see spirituality and strategy opposites. They separate them.
Right.
And I know we've always vibed on the fact that to me they go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Because strategy is just intentionality and action. Right? Like that's what it is.
Strategy is some intentionality and action.
Right? Yeah, it's like you have intention and then you go get action and attention, and that's how you strategize. But I think often people think strategy as kniving or like some sort of manipulation.
Right.
But that's not what you mean. So when you say we need to get strategic, how do we build the skill of becoming strategic, and what does it mean?
Well, I think you recognize, like you said, this strategy to me is the key to getting. It's one of the keys to move from where you are to where you have to be, because you identify where you desire to be, because you identify so much, and you get to research, you get to plot and plan. Nothing that is really amazing and like is come without a plan. You know what I mean? There are a lot of spontaneous things. I do believe in the energy of spontaneity, and like, but strategizing to me is so important. And there's so many ways to do it. You can study someone from afar. That's kind of one of the beauties of the internet. Is like you can kind of study and know someone you really respect, or you have someone in your family, or you may have someone in your neighborhood, or you may have someone, but even say someone from across the world that you really respect, you can study a lot of what they have put out in the world.
Yes.
And sometimes that's all you need. There have been times where when you get to know someone fully, you might get let down a little bit. It's like, because your expectations, you meet them, and it's like, wait, but, but I think there comes again the power of separation.
Because sometimes there's going to be a fire. Right. It needs a school because I need to learn. It needs a hospital because sometimes you get ill. Like, what does a city need? And you've got to look at your life in the same way and go, what does my life need?
Sometimes that's exactly what your life needs, is structure.
Yes.
You know, when you feel like you're all over the place and things aren't happening, sometimes you just need a little bit of structure and strategy, jump-start it, and build a foundation to build on. You know, so that's a perfect analogy.
Yeah. What's the best strategy you ever built to achieve something in your life? What example would you, from your own journey, when were you most strategic effectively?
There are times where I was very strategic and times where I wasn't. And one of the times in my life where strategy really helped was just like, I would say, securing my first record deal. I would get a record get on the radio? How can I be on the radio? Did some homework, and my friend, there's a radio show where you can battle rap and end up rapping on the radio, and people, okay, that's a way to get on the radio. So how do I get down? Okay, so I need a ride down there. I would plan out every aspect. I need to make sure I have a ride to get to the radio station to be able to battle rap. Okay, I need to plan out to write a rap for when I get on the radio, something to rap over, and so it's like you strategize every aspect, and it can be fun. It doesn't have to feel like homework. It don't gotta feel like school. None of us want to do more work. In fact, when you strategize, you probably are getting a lot of work, a lot more work. Don't get fooled thinking that you're getting ahead by not doing the work. I'm telling you, when you strategize and plan out, you're eliminating hours of work. So that is the reason, a lot of us may not have time to read the book. Reading a book, not just my book, but a book that actually takes that's what we're here to do, is to serve. Yeah. In every aspect, it's always comes down from a place of understanding. And this leads to something else I want to talk about, because just to understand something doesn't mean you have to accept it. Just because you understand it, and that's something that I had to learn the hard way. I thought that I was being the spirit guy by, if I get into a disagreement with someone, understanding where they come from. And then that ultimately turns to me not respecting myself, because I'll understand where they're coming from and be like, okay, I get it. But the fact that I still get it, it doesn't mean that I can't express myself and I'm not valid.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that everyone knows that, because I think that was something that I learned, is to set boundaries. And that's like that big B word. That's like the biggest B word there is, of boundaries, that I've learned this year. And that has really, really, really changed a lot of dynamics of people, and changed a lot of, it's really created a lot of happiness in my life.
Why did boundaries become so prominent in the last year or so?
I think I was trying to be a hero in every situation I was in. I'm such a pathetic person, so I love to. I really can feel when people are going through something. Even when the world is going through something, it's like I kind of really have to like really protect myself energetically, because I take on a lot of people's problems. You know what I'm saying? I can't help it, and it's not a good. I don't look at it as a bad thing. I just look at how I am. You know. Do I wish sometimes that I could just cut things off? Yeah, but it taught me that I can. I just have to set boundaries on what I can and can't accept. And this year, yeah, there were a lot of things that I was tired of feeling uncomfortable in certain situations. I was tired of letting people all over me. And just because I understood, or I get it, I respected myself. And I didn't realize that I wasn't respecting myself in that. There are times where, yeah, I can't go to this thing, I can't do this, or you know what, I can't go here, I can't go to Dubai and do this show because I have to be here for my son. I got to take my son trick or treat. You know, I had to set some of those boundaries that may have cost me one thing, but I gained another. And one of the most important things I gained back from setting boundaries is the trust in myself. You know, the confidence that I feel like I have been picking up for so long.
Yeah, and I think we're scared of boundaries because we are scared of what we lose when we do.
I know.
And it could be fun, it could be, you know, the fear of becoming irrelevant, the fear of becoming significant, the
fear of losing a person.
The fear of losing a person. But I learned that too. I remember a time in my life where I had so much compassion. I just felt like I was there for everyone else, but I had no. And when I say income, I don't mean financially. I mean there was no energy income coming in.
And you were just a piece of you. You were just a part of you.
Exactly. And you're just, and it's what you just said. You're trying to be a superhero, and you're trying to be the guy, not in an egotistic way. You actually just care about people.
For real.
But I realized very, very quickly at that time that unless I was full, rested, complete, you know, I wasn't actually able to help anyone. I was just giving people my leftovers.
Yeah.
My best of myself.
And how to enjoy it. You gotta enjoy your life too.
Totally, totally. And I just found that what really helped me was remembering that I didn't have enough to give anyone else if I wasn't in a good place myself.
Period.
And that didn't mean I wanted to get to a good place just for myself. The reason I wanted to get to a good place is so I could give more good to others. And therefore there had to be a structure, there had to be an order of, all right, well I need to take care of myself,
right.
I need to be full, I need to be ready, and then I can extend myself. But if I keep extending myself to else, chances are I get bitter at them. I'll get mad at myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, yeah, and it's an interesting one, boundaries, because I feel like, I think we also think we set boundaries for people, but we do it for ourselves.
We do it for ourselves.
Because people have been, oh, this person keeps breaking my boundaries. I'm like, well, no, you keep breaking your boundaries.
Exactly.
Right?
No, yeah, it's like the boundaries, forgiveness, they're not just there for you. You know, forgiveness is for you as well, and boundaries are for you as well. Yeah, I think that I grew up letting people walk all over me. I think I grew up by letting people take advantage straight up. You know, just to be real. And I saw that in my parents. Especially my dad, he would let just a perspective. So I'm not criticizing him or saying he was wrong in any way. It's just the kind-spirited, hearted person he is. But along with that, you do have to set your boundaries and respect who you are, because you will lose a sense of yourself by trying to take care of everyone else. You will lose a sense of yourself if you don't set new boundaries. You will lose a sense of yourself.
All right, it is time to take this stuff off my face.
Even if it's something you love. I lost like the passion of like watching anime. I remember while working so hard. It's like I hadn't sat and watched anime. I love watching anime. I love Dragon Ball. I love like My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer and Evangelions and all these things. And that's just one thing that I love, right? So it's like I have to take time out to do that because it is really important to me.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
I know all of us have demands. Some of us have families. Some of us work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Some of us, and you say it's impossible, but I'm telling you, if you make that time, you will create more time to be the better version of yourself in any of those situations. I promise you.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that really helped me as a boundary, and it doesn't apply if something's life-threatening or urgent, but sometimes someone would call and be like, oh, I had a fight with my wife. I had a fight with my husband. And my natural inclination was to like fix it. So like, yeah, let's jump on the phone. I'm going to help you through it right now.
Because that's how you were as a 10-year-old.
Because that's how I was as a 10-year-old.
Yeah, and so on and so forth. Go ahead, though.
And then I realized that actually my new response started to be, yeah, let's talk in 3 days. And the reason was, A, because maybe I had stuff on and I couldn't run to it. Like I said, it doesn't apply to life-threatening.
Of course.
If someone calls me and goes, I go to the hospital, obviously I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
But if someone, hey, this happened, that happened, I realized I may not be in a position to quit everything in life to go and be on this call. And those 3 days, person actually had to do some processing for themselves. And we were just jumping on the phone with them, trying to save them.
Dang, I forgot to use my...
I was actually just enabling them
to
not have to process it themselves. So most people in 3 days would say to me, they'd text me and go, Jay, actually, I think I figured it out.
Exactly.
And I'd be like, great, I have to hear it, let's jump on a call. And now they talk to me like, look, I thought about it. You know, they said this, I said that, but I've, you know, and it just showed me that so much of the time we think we're saving people, we're actually just enabling them. And every time we think we're going to solve their problem, we're actually just creating more issues for them, because everyone needs to learn to process mentally, emotionally themselves.
Wow.
And so sometimes, like, jumping in to help someone, you actually end up hurting them.
Wow,
because
a big one.
Yeah, because they need to do it. And so sometimes I had to set that boundary with myself. It wasn't like I don't want to be there for my friend or a family member. I just realized being there for them meant not being there now. And they didn't know that, but then when I saw them benefit from it, I realized that actually space sometimes gave them what they needed more than my words.
Yeah, because it goes back to like we were talking about, a lot of the answers are in you. You know, there was the things you're looking for, the resolutions, they are, and sometimes it may take a little while to rise to the surface, and sometimes you'll figure out, but one of the worst things you could do is impact somebody in the moment of them being, or in the moment of rage, or in the, you know, influencing them. It could really ruin something, you know, because you're feeding off of their emotions. It's like, I should just leave. Yeah, you should just leave. Like, instead of just being like, hey, take some time to, you know, talk. You know, it's really, that's a real important, great lesson, man.
Yeah, it's helped me a lot.
That's a great way of exercising boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. What are other daily habits? Talk about journaling and meditation in the book, and I want to talk about both of them. Because I think they're talking a lot today, but I want to hear about your deep, specific habits and how it's become such a ritual for you. So let's start with journaling. Like, obviously, you're a writer anyway.
Doesn't make it easier, I would say.
I was going to say, like, what's different about writing music, writing a book versus journaling? Like,
completely different. So music, I don't even like, I kind of just, or when I get in the studio, I kind of just let it flow through me. And I learned that from like Kanye, Jay-Z, and Common. Now there are a lot of people who do write on paths, like Eminem, you know, who's amazing to me, and a lot of people know, but how I do it personally is I just kind of like feel through it and let it stream to me, and I like go on the mic and like not necessarily styling, but yeah, just piece it together. You gotta come for a session one day. But then when it comes to journaling, that's my time where I put like my sword, your pen and your sword to paper, and you are you're strategizing and you're setting your intentions, things you may would like to experience. But I also like to do like gratitude. For some reason, gratitude just seems to magnetize more of the things that I'm thankful for in my life. I've seen it work in a lot of ways, and that's my belief. So the things that you are grateful for, you have to let the world know that you're grateful for it, because how else is it going to know to give it back to you? Or to bring it to you, or to the people around you.
Wow.
It also is a great way for me to.
That's a gem.
I practice I am. There's so much power. So I am who I am. I am happy. I am confident. I am happy that I get to sit down and talk to my friend Jay today. I'm happy I get to, whatever the case is, right? So that's what I do. And then at the end of it, of the journal, when I do the gratitude, and there are times where I write how I feel, not as much. I also speak out loud by myself. There are a lot of processes I do, but when I do that journal, I sign it at the bottom of it, like a contract. And I sometimes I put done, or I put like so be it, because it's a declaration.
Oh, I like
that. And I sign it because it's that important to me. I have to sign my contracts. I have to sign things that will be upheld as an important thing. And that's how the level of importance, even more, that I hold that too. So I sign it every time.
That is so good, man. I've never heard that before. I'm going to stand that.
It's powerful.
Yeah, I've never signed it. That's dope.
It's powerful. And Jay, does everything I write down come to fruition? No. Sometimes it does. I do. And then I realized that I'm also on God's time. Things that I've always wanted, the things that I've desired.
Me too.
It may not just be the right moment in my journey for that. But that's the beauty of it, man. I'm like still here. I'm still able. I'm still inspired. I'm still passionate, Yeah. So that's how I do my journaling. I also have there's a book I have of like poetry too, that I like write poems and stuff. I only write a few a year, honestly, but like I'll like fully write and draw around the poem, and it's really like a beautiful art. It's just something I do for fun. I haven't actually. I've only written one this year, and last year I wrote a few. So maybe inspire me one today, but that's kind of all it is. But I don't spend too much time on it. It takes me about 5 to 12 minutes.
That's great,
max. I meditate after that, because it's kind of like a good transition to like the energy is set for me to meditate. Because when I meditate, like I'm attracting these things more and giving myself the best shot of being the most impactful that I can be. So that's kind of the first thing I do when I wake up, if I can. Being a dad, though, there are times where I've been waking up and I have to go immediately, and so I come back to it later on. It's not preferred that way, but it's a good trade-off.
Yeah. What does your meditation look like? I love that so much. Just in how you journal, I've never, so be it is done, or the signature, and I'm going to start practicing those three. I like those a lot.
Yeah, because it's that important.
So
that is beautiful.
See this face? I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'm starting to get in a better, but I feel better. I felt sick this morning, but I don't feel sick anymore. So I'm going to film some content, just relax, order some food. Hopefully food is good. And I'll see you guys later. I love y'all.